Merch shop is open! And I have Patreon with tiers and stuff if you wish to support me. Shoutouts to Brad, my biggest patron.
Video time, enjoy!
In basic gameplay of D&D, you want to use all your actions before ending a turn. The more you do, the better you perform, usually. Sometimes that's not the case, due to cost of resources. But anyways, there's an action people forget about, for it's tricky to consistently make use out of every round, and that's reactions. Some of you might be thinking Polar Master builds right now, but you're watching me. I'm looking for something stronger, something more consistent and can use magic. I'm looking at Warcaster, third bullet point. When a hostile creature's movement provokes an opportunity attack from you, you can use your reaction to cast a spell at the creature rather than making an opportunity attack. The spell must have a casting time of 1 action and must target only that one creature. That's right. Warcaster reaction bypasses spell economy. This is something optimization rarely talks about. How do we make this reaction consistent in practical play? What crazy combo can you do with something that can reaction cast spells? Welcome to Pack Tactics. Let me introduce you to a build that feels like a brand new class. Ghostlance by Lilith. Before we begin, this build has quite a bit of history, although it's a new build. Basically, this is an updated version of the Forcelance build made by Ronin. In the description is Ronin's original build. Trentmug also made a video about it, but I recommend reading what Ronin said. Also keep in mind, this was back in the Xanathar days. Ronin's build got me obsessed with optimization, for it's so unique in how it plays. Nothing feels like a Forcelance build. I've searched endlessly for something as unique, and found nothing. Lilith is also a huge fan of Forcelance and found out how to make the build better now with the new books being out, so I'll cover it. It's fantastic and I feel I owe it to both builders. I'll only cover it up to 5th level. From there, if you're interested in the rest of the build, go to Tabletop Builds and read it, or come up with your own stuff. It's your character after all. I don't make your character. Now, the central concept of the Ghostlance is using the Manifest Echo feature of the Echo Knight to trigger opportunity attacks from a creature moving away from your Echo, which allows you to cast Eldritch Blast through Warcaster, and thus pushes the enemy 20 feet away, hopefully. That's the gist of the whole thing. Let us begin. We go Vooman. You can go any race you want, except gnomes. This doesn't work with gnomes. I personally only play kobolds. If you play a different race, then the build gets online at 6th level rather than 5th. Ability score, we pick Constitution and Charisma. Feat, Warcaster. It also improves concentration save with advantage and bypasses the free hand of somatic casting requirements. Level 1, Undead Warlock. You can go Fighter instead for Constitution proficiency to secure your concentration further, but I feel it's already secure with Warcaster, and Warlock getting proficiency in Wisdom is very good. Wisdom saves can shut you down, so I secure it. Skills, I pick Arcana for making scrolls and investigation. Background is whatever. Get stealth and perception if optimizing. Your character and your backstory, blah 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 blah. Form a Dread's 2nd bullet point is really the highlight here. Once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can force it to make a Wisdom saving throw. And if the saving throw fails, the target is frightened of you until the end of your next turn. Frightened condition. A frightened creature has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls, while the source of its fear is within line of sight, and the creature can't willingly move closer to its source of its fear. Fantastic shutdown. This is a bonus action, so it does conflict with Hex and action economy. Hex is still a decent grab here though, and the reason why it is simply because 1st level Warlock spells are bad, so pick what you want. I pick Hex, then 2nd I pick Protection from Evil and Good for Crypt Raids or something. The first bullet point from Form of Dread is temporary hit points, equal to 1d10 plus Warlock level. Remember that at all times. Don't volunteer being in melee. It's a bad idea. Cantrips, Eldritch Blast. This is mandatory to get Agonizing and Repelling Blast. 2nd cantrip is Minor Illusion for roleplay and utility. Starting equipment, you know what to pick. Get Component Pouch though. One more thing. Make scrolls if you can. Hex scrolls is very good for you. Once you get 2nd or 3rd level spells, maybe make better spell scrolls if you can. 2nd level, we go Fighter 1. We get proficiency in medium armor and shields. This is where you start looking for half plate and a shield. Fighting style, defense, +1 to AC. Second wind. Use this whenever you begin a short rest while injured. You can also short rest multiple times in a row to heal more. 3rd level, we grab 2nd level Warlock and get invocations. We grab agonizing and repelling. Push the creature up to 10 feet away while having Form of Dread active is really effective. You shut down the creature and push him away. You know what agonizing does. It's a tax invocation for Eldritch Blast. 1st level spell, pick what you want. They all suck. 4th level, it's 2nd level in Fighter, Action Surge. You almost always want to use this in round 1 combined with, let's say, Hex or Form of Dread. I can't stress to you how important a round is. You never want to see what the monsters can do. Just kill them. If you see a creature that clearly looks like it can cast magic, Action Surge, focus fire on it. It's so important. It's always the deadliest enemy on the field due to it having AoE effects or AoE damage. 5th level, the build is now online. Pick 3rd level Fighter and go Echo Knight. By the way, your Eldritch Blast scales. You can shoot 2 beams now. Some might protest here, so let's read what it says. The spell creates more than 1 beam when you reach higher levels. Nowhere in this text does it say anything related to class. It's just levels, and we meet that level. Unleashed Incarnation. Ignore it for this build. Manifest Echo, the star of the show. Oh, this feature is crazy. Context for those who are watching in the Echo Knight video explanation. Shoutouts to Lilith for structuring most of the script. I'm covering her Ghostlance builds for another video, and this is related to it. Link in the description once it comes out. Disclaimer, it's recommended that you go through the mechanics with your DM in session 0 to get a consensus on how things work, as interactions that involve the Echo Knight aren't necessarily intuitive and apparent. Now, let's read the feature. You can use a bonus action to magically manifest an echo of yourself in an unoccupied space you see within 15 feet of you. This echo is a magical translucent gray image of you that lasts until it's destroyed, until you dismiss it as a bonus action, until you manifest another echo, or until you're incapacitated. Your Echo's AC is 14 plus your proficiency bonus. It has 1 HP and is immune to all conditions. If it has to make a saving throw, it uses your saving throw bonus for the roll. It's the same size as you, and it occupies its space. On your turn, you can mentally command the Echo to move up to 30 feet in any direction. No action required. If your Echo is ever more than 30 feet from you, at the end of your turn, it is destroyed. You can use the Echo in the following ways. As a bonus action, you can teleport, magically swapping places with your Echo at a cost of 15 feet of your movement, regardless of the distance between the two of you. When you take the attack action on your turn, any attack you make with that action can originate from your space or the Echo space. You make this choice for each attack. When a creature that you can see within 5 feet of your Echo moves at least 5 feet away from it, you can use your reaction to make an opportunity attack against that creature, as if you were in the Echo space. To make this clear, this is no resource cost at all, so you can just do this over and over and over again. However, 1 Echo at a time. This is why this feature is crazy. Rules as intended. Here is what you and the DM should know about. The Echo is not a creature. Crawford stated that this is an object. So for the sake of our sanity, we will treat it as raw. Thus, it is immune to poison and psychic damage and ignores effects that only apply to creatures. To be even more clear, the Echo is immune to every condition in the game, and only spells that say it can affect an object works against the Echo. Here's basically the list of spells that can affect the Echo. If the Echo moves away from a creature, it doesn't provoke an opportunity attack, for again, it's an object. You cannot flank with the Echo. You cannot get pack tactics. The Echo cannot do the help action. Object, 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 object. The Echo occupies space and can move in any direction and does not follow restrictions from creatures. It can move in the air, but not through terrain. It can also body block. The Echo is destroyed if it is 30 feet away from you at the end of your turn. You can still move it further away and use your abilities before your turn ends, and there's no limits to the distance you can teleport with it. The Echo doesn't do anything other than its movement or perform any action. It is purely an anchor, a reference point of your abilities. For all intents and purposes, you're still performing all your actions and attacks, even attacking through its space. The Echo can grapple a creature because grapple shove are special attacks, but the condition of grappled ends immediately. There is a cool interaction here though. Grapple causes the creature's speed to become 0, even for a brief moment like that. It causes flying creatures to fall if the flight is not magical or hover. It says right here, be within your reach. You are not the Echo. The Echo is an object. Let's say hypothetically you could. Then you have permanent flight. The Echo grapples you and you both fly off. That is dumb. You or any creature cannot grapple the Echo because again, grapple only applies to creatures and it is immune to all conditions. Now for reactions, there are 2 feats that work with this. First one, and the most popular one, is Sentinel feats. The first bullet point works with the Echo. Whenever you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, its speed drops to 0 for the rest of the turn. This stops any movement they may have been taking. The other bullet points don't work because it has to do with your reach. You are not the Echo. Second one, and this is for Ghostlancing, Warcaster. Third bullet point. When a hostile creature's movement provokes an opportunity attack from you, you can use your reaction to cast a spell at the creature rather than making an opportunity attack. The spell must have a cast time of an action and must target only that creature. The Echo grants a new condition to trigger your opportunity attack, which relies on the enemy's movement, both of which satisfies the criteria for Warcaster. When Warcaster activates, you replace the opportunity attack entirely to instead cast a spell with an action cast time.
But Kobold, wouldn't you instead attack from the Echo's space?
No, the clause as if you were in the Echo space applies specifically to opportunity attack, which we are replacing entirely with something different, and that is casting a spell. It is why you cannot cast Booming Blade with an Echo far away, because nothing is allowing you to cast the spell as if you're in the Echo space. There's no in-between step that teleports you to the Echo before using your reaction. It is only the property of opportunity attack with your melee weapon, which you are not doing when using Warcaster. If the spell were to argue that it's at the Echo space, it would have to be written as you can, as if you're in the Echo space, use the reaction to make an opportunity attack, blah 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 blah. I think I got everything. Now back to Ghostlancing. Strategy time. On your turn, you Eldritch Blast like a regular Warlock, doing consistent damage and pushing enemies into things such as off terrain, into effects like web or spike growth, away from allies, breaking grapples, or just far enough that the melee enemies have to waste their action to dash. End your turn with the Echo within 5 feet of an enemy. It could be blocking their adjacent space or hovering above them to quarantine them within the squares near the Echo. If they ever leave its 5-foot coverage, they will provoke an opportunity attack from you as part of the Echo's ability, which you then replace with Warcaster to cast a spell from your own space and fire the Eldritch Blast at them, pushing them even further back. You can also use the echo to ward off an area your enemies want to go through. Take note of where they can go and the angle which you can push them if they trigger your attack. If your allies are planning to cast Command or Dissonant Whispers, capitalize on that. Even if you are within 5 feet of a hostile enemy, giving you disadvantage to spell attacks, you are still firing multiple beams. If one hits, then it pushes the enemy away. Subsequent attacks no longer have disadvantage. If you're in melee very often for some reason, consider picking up Gunner Feat. It's a half feat that comes with 1 point dex, and the last bullet point helps with your Eldritch Blasts. If Gunner isn't an option, pick up Crossbow Expert. Second bullet point is all you care about. On top of all this, pushing, you have 4 more Dread to shut down creatures. I said this so many times before, but this is why we call it a Ghostlance. Enemies are put in a lose-lose situation where they either risk eating a full Eldritch Blast barrage if they want to move, or waste their attacks to destroy the Echo, which is moderately sturdy and does not die to most generic area damage, as they often only affect creatures. Still, you will likely be using your bonus action regularly to reposition the Echo or manifest it again when destroyed. The Echo makes you a slippery snake. You have access to at-will teleports that requires minor setup, does not rely on sight, and can bypass obstructions. You should always have it up for a quick 30 feet plus teleport when needed. Do note that you need 15 feet of movement to make that swap, so being grappled or restrained can limit this. Hopefully you see the appeal of this build now. It makes you think in a very different way compared to other classes and builds. Placements and reactions are key things here. Like at this level, best case scenario, let's say everything hits. If a creature triggers opportunity attack, you Eldritch Blast him. You push him 20 feet. Then on your turn, you can use an action to blast him again, to push him another 20 feet. Then Action Surge, shoot another 2 times to push another 20 feet. So in total that whole round, you pushed a creature 60 feet away. This to me is what frontliners should do. Get enemies away from me and my friends. At higher levels, the pushing gets better. Eldritch Blast scales, you know that. Here is where the build splits. You have tons of options in what to progress, due to it being a charisma caster. Anyways, 2 of these splits is the most optimized. I will only cover them to save time. You can come up with your own ideas yourself, or you can read tabletop builds. First one, and this is probably what I would do. Go straight Warlock from here so you can get Hypnotic Pattern, Death Wards, Hypnotic Static, and yada yada yada. You've already delayed spell progression by quite a lot with those 3 levels in Fighter. So straight Warlock is the quickest way to get to the nuke spells out of all the options you have. Second option. This is the most optimized and is what Ronin would do. Multiclass into Sorcerer, so now you're triple classing. Go straight Sorcerer from here. Even a single level is a really big deal for your defenses. You get shield, absorb elements, and different spell slots. The subclass options here are plenty, like Tasha's options are incredible, but me, Ronin, Lilith, and tabletop builds favor Divine Soul the most. This is a classic. You get blessed and favored by the gods. You also get to pick spells from the Cleric spell list, which is great. As you progress in Sorcerer, you eventually become a full caster with fantastic control spells like Web, Sleet Storm, Spirit Guardians, and blah blah blah. There's a lot to look at here. Anyways, you get the point. This build is super fun. I highly recommend it. I've played the old version a few times before and had a blast. I might do more builds in the future, but chances are very low. I really should make a kobold build to give you guys an idea how I build things and play the game. But maybe next year. Thank you for watching. Bye bye!